Today we have with us Kavita Freedom. She's been in this space for more than 12 years. She's someone who's made physical illnesses her friend. I mean, after her personal experience, and then when she works with people, she works with in a lot of areas, but I think physical illness is her forte because of what she went through, and she treats it like a friend and not an enemy, as most of us do. Typically what most of the people ask me after watching her videos is that how do her sessions go about. So last Friday we had addressed, and I'll start by just giving 2 lines. Her first session is always a case study of 2 hours where she understands your life and gives you a perspective and possible triggers for what could have triggered those illnesses. And then from the second session she starts healing from those triggers. So over to you, Kavita.
Thank you so much, Dipti. Am I audible?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody, and a very good evening. And I know this is Friday evening and you would have wanted to be somewhere else, but you'll have chosen to be here. That means this is important for you. So not wasting any time, as Dipti said, that this has been my journey since 2001, that I have started looking into diseases, not just as a physical symptom, but what is really the story behind that. And then when I started studying this subject and doing research on it, it was very clear that behind every disease, there is a specific emotional trauma. And why am I saying a specific emotional trauma? Because everybody has traumas in life, right? For a very busy woman, her maid not coming on time is also a trauma. But that will not give you a disease. But if suddenly you hear that your maid who has been with you, let's say for more than 10 years, has suddenly died of an accident, it can become a trauma for you because it is something that was unexpected, something that you had not thought would happen. There's a lot of emotional drama that is there and you don't know how to deal with it. So these are, in short, the reasons that create a trauma into that conflict from where the diseases start. And as he said, that sometimes I really feel that universe gives me a disease just so that, I can find the answer behind that. So I have literally told the universe there are better ways of doing that. I don't need to fall sick because of that. And the biggest thing in this whole journey of mine with 12 years of therapeutic work and all that is that even though the disease is the same, it is very interesting to see how the emotional conflicts are different behind it. So like two people will come with diabetes and one will have one emotional conflict and the other person can have another emotional conflict. And that is what makes this whole understanding so interesting. And we have done our talk on diabetes, we've done on PCOD, and today we are picking up insomnia. Right, Dipti?
Yes, we have also done one on stomach issues before.
Yes, and stomach issues, correct. So does anybody have here insomnia, or do you all first want me to explain what is insomnia? Is anybody here suffering from insomnia? Nobody? Okay.
That would be me, Kavita. Cecilia, yeah.
Who is it?
Yes.
Cecilia.
Cecilia. Okay. So Cecilia,
Huma.
can you just, and Huma, okay. Can you just tell me, Cecilia, when you say that you have insomnia, has it been diagnosed by the doctor? That's the first thing.
Yes, many years ago. Okay, it was diagnosed by the doctor. And I think it was basically the stress and, work-related thing. So that's what they said. They said, so I think in those days I used to be in Dubai. So they asked me like, are you getting 200,000 dirham salary? I'm like, what? Excuse me, doctor. Like, no, why are you taking so much tension? You need to rest. You need to consider, it's not your company. So that's how it is. So,
okay.
But then that's been like a pattern for me. I think I'm like Shah Rukh Khan. 4 hours of sleep is enough. 3 hours of sleep is enough.
Okay. But do you feel fresh with that, just that 4 and 3 hours of sleep?
Not really.
Exactly. So I don't know whether you're Shah Rukh Khan or not, but it is definitely not helping you. Okay. Now in insomnia, there are many different types of insomnias. Okay. One is where you can't sleep till late in night and you get your sleep way early in the morning, and then you can't get up, on time for whatever you need to do. So it's like you try to sleep right from 10:30, 11, but you don't get sleep till 3, 4. Okay? Yes. You get your sleep at 4 a.m. and then you have to get up at 7, which is not working for you. Right? Now, another form of insomnia is where you just don't sleep only. You may sleep a little while in the mornings, but at night you just can't sleep. And the third type of insomnia is that you go to sleep, but you will get up in the middle of the night, and then after that you can't go off to sleep. Now, insomnia, when we talk about that, we are talking of a sleeping disorder. And all your sleep cycle is taken care of by the pineal gland, which is right at the center of your brain, on top of your brain. Okay? And the circadian rhythm, if you all have heard of it, that is taken care of by the pineal gland along with the hormone melatonin. So if this hormone melatonin has gone for a toss, this rhythm has gone for a toss, you will end up with insomnia. Take the word insomnia. How is it spelled? INSOMNIA. Now, in the disease, in the word of the disease itself, the story is there. The first thing, in, means the answer to this problem is not outside, it's within you. And mania means you are in an opposite stage of depression. How many of you all have heard these terms like manic depressive, depressive manic, bipolarity, right? So in that, there is one phase which is your depressive phase, and the other phase is your manic phase. People who are insomnias, they have excessive energy. It is like your mind is racing even when it needs to sleep. Cecilia, does that happen with you?
Yes, it used to. Definitely.
Yes, right. So it's
now
like,
with my healing journey, I think I've kind of, things have now gotten into a pattern and sort of a thing.
So are you sleeping better?
Yeah, I'm sleeping much better.
So now what time do you sleep?
Around 10:30 itself, 10:30, 11 max, I sleep.
Okay. And you're able to get up on time and feel fresh?
Yes, all this changes since July, August gradually. Okay. But yeah.
Right. So if you remember your days when you used to sleep at 4 o'clock, it is not that, you are not tired, but it is as though your mind is just not willing to stop.
Sure, I agree with you. And it's like completely a race because, even if you want to stop, it's continuously functioning. It's like a car, without a fuel, it still wants to run.
Right. And have you ever noticed what were the thoughts that you were having at that time?
I have to finish. Oh, this is there. That is that, those are the kind of things, right?
So what is this? This is obsessive thinking. What do I have to do? 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 It is like a never-ending to-do list in your head. Some people in this time are trying to find solutions to the problem. If there is an ongoing stress, if there is a problem, they're finding solutions to that. And I had one very interesting case where this girl, she used to live her life in that hours. So what does that mean? Throughout the day that I can't do what I want to do, she will visualize it, fantasize it, imagine it in that time frame. Now, why would you do that? Who's stopping you from living your life? So back we go into our childhood. Issues with mother specifically can also lead to insomnia. Why issues with the mother? Because along with the pineal gland, the hypothalamus gland is responsible for the circadian rhythm. And if you look at the picture of the hypothalamus, you can all go to the Google later and look at that picture. It is in the shape of the uterus. All your issues where the hypothalamus gets affected are to do with mothers. All your issues that are related with your pituitary glands are to do with your father. Cecilia, any bells ringing?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, but I think for me, I don't know about if it was, from the mother's thing, but there could be a lot of bottled up thing,
A lot of bottled up emotions from the childhood?
Because I think I was not there for both my parents, death. And it's a very young age, I lost my mom.
So have you dealt with that guilt?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So now
I
in
made
your
peace with
case,
it now.
even though I would say that it is related to your parents, but it is not that your parents have traumatized you, but you have got traumatized because of whatever the parents went through.
Yes. I think the guilt was like, I wasn't there for them. I wasn't there.
Yes. And that is where the hypothalamus will get affected.
And I think the way, if I don't, just 2 minutes, I'm taking your time, but I'm just saying the way I dealt with it was, I think, my mom's sister who lived with me till she was 83 last year in November. In fact, yesterday was 1 year she completed her death. It was a death anniversary. So it was only after that I decided, I wanted to, make up for all that, which I was not there for both my parents. So I kind of was there to help my aunt out till she passed away. And after that, I, resigned my job. I was in a sabbatical for a few months. And that's how I dealt with it. And then I went into the healing journey and now I'm back. Now I feel like I've addressed all those issues. Like you just mentioned, people who are going through that will also find solutions. So that was my journey. The only way to find solution was like, stop this.
As I said, the only way to find solution is go within. Your answer is not outside.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. So I had to stop. When people were like, in this COVID, people are losing jobs. You have a job and why are you making a decision to leave your job? But I just thought, it's important for me to kind of introspect, find out what, and then work on myself. And that's my journey. And that's how I also met Deepti also.
Right. Okay. There was another person who said they also have an insomnia issue. Okay, thanks, Deepti. If you see, this pituitary gland has, can you see the arrow? It has got 2 lobes. And it looks like the testes. And this area, which is your hypothalamus, it is the uterus.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
Yes. And that's why that is very clear. People who have all issues that are related to the hypothalamus, you need to work on your issues around your mother. I think it was Huma, right? Who also has insomnia?
Gauri had mentioned she has.
Gauri. Okay. Gauri, what kind of insomnia do you have? You can't sleep at all? You sleep for some time?
I have a very broken sleep. Like if I sleep at 10:30, 11, I'll get up by 12:31 for sure. And if I am around 3 o'clock every day, whatever time I sleep, even if I go back to sleep again, 3:30, I'm up again.
And then
So
do you fall off to sleep again?
Sleep. Yeah, then I don't want to get up, then by the time I sleep, it's like sometimes it's once in a blue moon, it's like I don't sleep at all, but I'm just lying in bed. Then sometimes it's like I go off to sleep and then I'm not able to get up before 7:30. It's just not, you're not fresh in the morning.
Right.
That's the problem.
Now, till now, whatever I have spoken to you, has anything clicked?
So yeah, a bit of it that.
Sorry, you went mute.
So yes, a little bit has clicked that of course it's all related to, like you said, that your mind runs very fast. and you have these things lined up, and also it's an overactive mind, which is overthinking mind.
Yes.
So that is what happens to me. There's some or the other thoughts keep floating in my head, and they're pretty useless because I have no schedule. I don't have any deadlines or anything of that sort.
Okay.
So it's just that the mind keeps thinking about something or the other, that overthinking happens, and then I don't sleep, or I have a
Right.
disturbed sleep.
Right. Right. Now, another thing that I mentioned, mania is the opposite of depression. What happens in depression? You're sad. You don't feel like doing anything. You can be very crying kind of a person all the time.
Okay.
Right? And what is the opposite of that when we say you are a manic person?
I don't know about the energy part, but I feel that, my mind is constantly running.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In depression, people feel as though the mind is just not working.
Oh, that doesn't happen.
Right? But in manic, it seems as though you just can't stop your mind.
Yeah, that happens many a times.
Right? And also, there is obsession. You're obsessing about something, either a problem or something that you need to do, something that you need to finish. It is a continuous thought that you're having.
Okay. Possible. Yeah, if I look back, there are a lot of thoughts.
And you have too much of energy.
But in morning when you get up, there seems to be no energy.
And yes. Why? Because you have not finished your cycle, no?
Correct.
Right? But at that time, when you are awake, if somebody tells you to do something, you will be up and ready to do it.
Yeah, I always take a round. I call myself the ghost of the house. 3:30, I'm always taking a round. Who's sleeping, who's up? Because I have two sons. One is, of course, in another place, but the other one is at home. So I check on them. So they're all grown ups. I mean, they're all in there. One is getting married shortly.
So can I ask you a question, Gauri?
Yeah.
Are you too worried about your children's well-being?
Only when they're out of the house. Otherwise, they're all there. So that's not a.
So you need to see that they are back or not?
Yeah, I think that plays on my mind. When they're out, yes, it plays on my mind. When they're back home, then okay, now that's fine. Or if I know what time they're coming.
For you, one thing will be very interesting, Gauri. Check how is your sleep when your kids have not gone out.
Okay.
Because you are obsessing around your children.
But the kids are going on maybe twice a week or something, but I have this problem continuously. So there's some of the other thought going in my mind, at the back of my mind. It's happening, and it could be any random thought. It could be anything, like a lot of it is connected with fear.
Okay, so now if you have narrowed it down, what is the fear?
Anything. Like suppose I have to complete a task. Something I have to do. Something related to finance, settling my accounts, doing this, that, and the other. And like completing the books now is income tax and those. So I do it for my family, being a chartered accountant, not a practicing one. So all that keeps me on my mind. The fear that I may do something wrong, kuch galat ho jayega, theek se nahi jayega, return. So these small things keep playing.
Do you have the fear of making a mistake?
Yeah.
So when I have the fear of making a mistake, who do I become? I become this extra cautious and
worrying person, I guess.
Perfectionist.
I don't think I'm a perfectionist. I don't know.
With your work.
I don't categorize myself as a perfectionist. I have more of
But you try to be perfectionist. See, the minute you say that I don't want to make a mistake, you will be that extra cautious, extra careful person.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And when I'm that extra cautious and careful person, why am I like that? Because I want whatever I'm doing to be flawless.
At least in my accounts, yes. Otherwise, it doesn't bother me.
So maybe this is that one area that is troubling you a lot.
Yeah, and it's that time now of filing returns and also I'm going.
Yeah. Right. So for you, my question will be, has anything happened in your life around finances, around all these income tax returns and all that has put you in this place of fear?
Yeah, I keep filing, and somewhere, I never practiced as a chartered accountant for the first 12 years of my life after completing. Had my family and all, then I started practicing. Then I didn't find much joy in it. I left it. But since I've been doing it, and now I do it only for my family members, for our returns. And those also, for me, they become complicated because I don't like this
So why
area
are
at
you
all.
doing it then?
Because I'm expected to do it, that's why.
So
I'm
nobody
being
has
very
taught,
honest about
you've
it.
not yet learned how to say no?
I've said it many a times, but then I'm brought around to it that you have to coordinate it. So the coordination is as good as doing it.
So coordination is just that you go and appoint one chartered accountant. That's it.
That fellow is not so easy. I do the groundwork and then he does his final stamping on it.
So
That's what he
Gauri,
does.
if you
He-
are forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do, and on
Yeah.
top of that, you have the fear of making a mistake,
Yeah.
what do you
that is
think you're doing to your mind?
complicating it even more.
You're fucking it up.
Okay, I was being polite.
No point being polite on this platform. It won't hit you.
So I'll try and find out a way. That's my plan in the next 3 months to just offload it on
Yes,
somebody.
you just need to get somebody who's willing to do that job and you don't do it. And maybe your sleep is just going to become fine because that is a stress that is continuously hampering your hypothalamus. Please understand, don't take your hypothalamus for granted. It is your one very important gland that secretes the major hormones in your body.
Okay.
It is responsible for your body temperature. It is responsible for your sleep cycle. It is responsible for your immunity. It is responsible for your periods. So many things.
Mm-hmm.
So today what is started as insomnia, if you don't finish this story, it's going to then create something else.
I'll address this.
So also understand that your mind for some reason is not accepting that the day is over and the night has begun. So go off to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why would your mind not do that?
No, but I don't understand that. One part could also be binge watching. That could be one of the culprits.
Okay, so from today onwards, stop binge watching and let's see if your sleep improves.
Yeah, I make a determination, but then next day it goes for a toss.
So is it binge watching which is leading to insomnia, or has insomnia made you a binge watcher?
No. I don't. During the day I watch, not necessarily at night. So, but I
And
think
do
maybe
you
my mind becomes
replay
hyper. I
all
look
those
at
things in your
crime
mind?
shows and all. So I think my mind becomes even more hyperactive.
That's exactly what I'm telling you, that when your sleep cycle is going to get disturbed, when your mind, your brain stops the differentiation of the day and the night,
Mm-hmm.
that is when the insomnia is going to come. Because even after your regular full day, if you feel that I've not done enough or I still need to be active,
Mm-hmm.
then that is confusing your mind.
Okay.
So for you, the day is just not getting over.
Mm-hmm.
You try to bring an end to it, then again you get up.
Yeah, but this 3 o'clock thing, I really can't understand. This has been happening for the last 3-4 months.
Has anybody told you that you need to get up at Brahma Muhurat?
No.
Thank God.
I got to know only recently that 3:30 because I was telling a friend of mine, she said, then you start doing meditation at 3:30 so that you
For
can go off to
heaven's
sleep."
sake, don't do meditation, please.
No, lying in bed apparently.
Not even lying in bed. If you want to do, please do breathing, please do affirmations, don't get into meditation.
Okay.
I know a lot of people will say that, meditation has helped me, but it's not for everybody. You need to find what is going to calm your mind.
Fine.
I hope I answered your question.
Yeah.
So Kavita,
Some
is
points to
test
work
or a
on
way
now
to
more.
diagnose your
Just a second. There are two voices coming at the same time.
Sorry.
No, yes, sir. Yeah, Dipti, go.
I was saying that since you mentioned the importance of hypothalamus, is there a test or a diagnosis through which people can check their hypothalamus as to whether it is okay, or is there a parameter?
I am not aware of a test, but one very simple thing, when you realize that your hypothalamus is not okay, is when you can't sleep properly. And even when you sleep, you're not getting up fresh. You have to understand your hypothalamus is not okay.
Okay, so that's the indicator.
That is one indication. Second indication, your hypothalamus pressure point is here at the tip of your thumb.
Okay.
So when you give real deep pressure, if there is pain, hypothalamus is not functioning properly.
Okay. So this is a good tip for everybody, I mean, who's here now and for who will watch the video later
Because hypothalamus is always taken for granted. Everybody is focusing on pituitary and pineal. The story of a land, preference given to the male. Time to give preference to the queen.
No, I think this is an important tip.
Yes, because if your hypothalamus is not going to be okay, especially when you go through your menopause, it is going to make you miserable. Because anyways, your sleep cycle is not okay. In menopause, it will become worse.
Right.
Anyways, body temperature is not okay. In menopause, it will become worse. The whole world will be in the sweaters. I want my AC.
So I think I have not even hit menopause yet. So I don't know where I am exactly.
Good. So then you can at least start making the changes that you need to do right away.
No, but I'm already 53. So I'm wondering what's wrong.
No, it's unnecessary. If your mother has also got a menopause late, there's a possibility you will get them late.
She did. She finished it late. I mean, she got it late, but my sisters are all done with it. Kind of. And one
Doesn't
is younger.
matter. And see, again, you could be having a longer perimenopausal phase and then the menopause may set in. And please, there is a question how to take care of the hypothalamus. Take care of yourself, your needs. What do you want? That is the best way to take care of the hypothalamus. Because most of the time, as I said, hypothalamus is connected with mother issues. The things that you have learned from your mother, the beliefs that have come down from your mother, the patterns that have come down from your mother. How many of all women have this? I don't see any man. Yes, all of us. How many of us have this thing that, you know, as a woman, you have to just go on. Family comes first. Children next. I last. So then welcome to the world of hypothalamus. Totally screwed hypothalamuses. That's what your moms have taught us, right? And you're just continuing that. You know, I'd given a client a homework. I said, from today onwards, you will first serve food in your plate and then serve to everybody. And she had started crying in the session. It said, how can I do that? Then I'm not a good woman. I'm not a good mother. I'm not a good daughter and blah, blah, blah. And I said, this is just one simple thing I'm telling you to change. Not even anything big. So understand such deep-rooted beliefs and patterns we have. Start massaging the tip of your thumb every day for 15 minutes. No matter how much it hurts. That will help reboot the hypothalamus. But don't expect it in 1 month. It's a good 3 months process that you'll have to do.
So both the hands or any one hand?
Both. It's bilateral point.
I hope everybody's heard that, because I think that's a very good tip she's given, which all of us can
It
start.
is very important to keep your hypothalamus healthy. Also, another conflict that is there where I cannot see what is the difference between day and night. Why do I need my day to continue even till 4 o'clock in the night? Never-ending to-do list is so there only. What other thing can be the reason that you don't want your day to get over? Abuse comes up over here. If there is an abuse story that has happened in the darkness of the night, you don't want the day to get over. You're vigilant even at night. So till your body doesn't get tired and you drop dead, you will not sleep. Yes, Ritu, you have a question.
Yeah. So, Kavita, actually, I joined a bit late, so I don't know if you have taken this before. If you have already taken, I can skip it.
No, no
But
problem.
yeah, this is regarding my actually from last 1 week I've been encountering this issue, and this is like, I go to sleep in the night and I lie down and I just get up shivering, uh, something just comes to my mind, and it's like, oh god, now my whole body will start shivering, and that starts happening actually. And this happens during night also, and sometimes during day also. And it 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 is actually happening, and then I have to just get up and I have to start taking walks. I have to walk full night. I would just want to add little background to this. I'm in my second trimester, and this has just started in, recently, since 1 week. So I just wanted to understand, like, I'm taking medicines also for this, and I've been doing lot of reading also. But it's really bothering because prior to this, I never had sleeplessness. So is it just the hormonal changes because of which is it impacting? But it's really impacting me very big time. I mean, I'm not able to sleep.
You're in
Daytime
your
also,
which
full day
month
I'm
now?
sleepy. Fifth has started.
Okay. And when the shivering happens, do you feel cold?
I feel cold also, but the thing is that I get full sensation in my body from my head to toe, and I feel like, oh, if I don't get up now, I'll get some attack or something will happen. So I
Hmm.
just get up and I start walking, and full night I spend walking only from here to there.
Okay. Ritu, this sounds like an entity attachment to me. Are you aware of what
Okay.
is entity attachments?
No, if you could just explain it to me in two
Okay.
lines.
Okay. Dipti, are we okay to talk about it?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think
Okay.
it's more common than people think it is.
Exactly. Now, when we talk about entity attachments, it means that there is some energy that is around you, which is not yours. In very simple words.
Okay.
Ritu, can you come over the video? I mean, it's getting difficult to talk.
I'm so sorry, Kavita. I'm out
Okay.
actually. So
All right.
I've just,
Okay. So please understand that, we say कि ऐसा थोड़ी कुछ होता है, I am there in my body and everything. How can some other energy take over my body? But this is a very common thing, much more common than what we would want to believe. And these are those typical signs where suddenly you get shivering, you feel this absolute chilly coldness, or your extremities go cold. You start feeling that, as if something or something around you is not okay. It's a very clear
yeah.
indication that there is an energy around you which is not yours. And you need to take care of it ASAP.
But isn't that because of pregnancy? I mean, or is it something different? Because this is just started after, this,
If it was
after
related
the
with
pregnancy.
hormones and if it was to do with pregnancy, then all women who have been pregnant should have experienced it. I haven't. Anybody else? So it is not common, Ritu.
Okay. So
See,
what should be done then, Kavita?
you need to really, connect with Dipti and get a therapy done immediately for yourself and get rid of this energy. Because it is not only going to impact you, if you don't take care of it, it will start impacting your child.
To message me, we'll take care of it. We'll talk tomorrow.
Please get in touch with Dipti.
Sure, I will.
Okay?
Thank you, Kavita. And
You're most welcome. And please understand, when you're pregnant, you're anyways in a very vulnerable situation.
right.
Right? Emotionally, mentally, physically, you are not that the absolute strong person that you would normally be.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, 1 week back, has anything happened in your life which was like uncalled for? At work,
No, I
at
wouldn't
home?
say. No, Kavita. Nothing like that. Everything is
Nothing like that, no?
normal.
Did you go anywhere? Did you visit some place?
No, I didn't go. This started 1 week back when I was at home only. But yeah, 2 days back I visited some place and it continued there also. So it started from the time I'm at home.
So you have been at home only.
Correct.
Okay. So as I said, please get in touch with Dipti and this needs to be taken care of immediately.
Sure, Kavita, I'll do that.
Right? Because if it was a hormonal problem, you would have phases of feeling hot and cold.
It is so, Kavita, I would just try to tell you one thing. It is not cold exactly. I mean, I can sleep in the AC. That is not a problem. The only thing is that, I get little kind of some sort of vibration. I would say that, I kind of a panic attack. Maybe I get little anxious that, okay, things
What are you
are
anxious
not
about
working
then?
and I should just get up. I don't know. Nothing is going wrong in my life. By God's grace, touch wood, everything is fine.
So that's
But yeah,
exactly, that is
maybe
where I'm still further narrowing it down for you, that this is not to do with your hormones. This is no anxiety or anything. It is an energy that shouldn't be around you.
Ritu, I'll just give you an example. A 15-year-old girl had developed a fear of darkness and she could not sleep alone. When we checked, there was a wayward soul, which means it's not like she had gone somewhere. Wayward souls are generally entities which are coming around and they feel comfortable in your energy. Once that energy was removed, her fear of darkness, her fear of sleeping alone just disappeared. And this is, I'm telling you from an experience of someone whom I know this girl personally. So it was just like in a day, the day the entity was removed, it was a teenage boy who was there in her energy. I mean, that also I'm telling you because the healer told me. It was a teenage boy who just liked that girl's energy. And the moment it was removed, her fear of darkness, her fear of sleeping alone was gone.
So nothing to be scared about, Ritu, but it can be very easily taken care of. So just get in touch with Dipti.
Yeah, sure, Kavita, I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, dear. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Sarita has a question.
Yes, Sarita.
You're muted.
Yeah. See, hi, Kavita.
Hi,
I'm
Sarita.
71 years old. I'm having this insomnia problem for a number of years. Actually, it started about 15, 20 years back because I started having asthma problems and I used to have a lot of phlegm. So whenever I used to lie down at night, I used to start coughing. So I would, do something on the computer, play a game, read something or do something like that. So I think it started with that. But then now sometimes I sleep so well, I lie down and I'll be off. The whole night I sleep very well. Sometimes the whole night I can't sleep. But
Okay, but it has started with your asthma?
Yeah, it started with that.
Okay.
I think because
so
I used to lie down at night, I would start coughing and I used to get a lot of mucus and all. So
yes.
I would refrain from lying down,
Is your asthma still there?
Lie down and do something.
Asthma is still there?
Yeah, it is, but it is much better now.
Okay, so first understand what is the conflict behind asthma. The conflict behind asthma is that there is somebody in your life who is literally smothering you, who is not allowing you to be who you want to be. Is that making sense to you?
Yeah. It does.
Right. So now when the asthma has started with this person, at a physical level, you couldn't sleep because of the discomfort of asthma. But there is also a possibility that you're not sleeping at night also because of the discomfort with this person.
Okay.
So you need to take care of that part.
Okay.
Do you feel discomfort with this person who's also somewhere the responsible for your asthma?
Yeah, to some extent.
And because of that, your sleep is getting affected. As I said, if there has been an abuse at night, you become so vigilant at night that you can't sleep. So similarly, if there is this, I'm sorry?
there hasn't been any abuse at night.
No. I'm not speaking. I'm giving you an example.
Okay.
So similarly, when there is a person, let's say if I am having some kind of discomfort with my partner and I don't have an option but to sleep next to my partner, and that's not okay for me, I can land up with insomnia.
Okay.
Because I need to take care of my comfort at that time also. It's like you're going to protecting yourself.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome.
So which means in her case, she has to first look at asthma.
Yes, because
then-
asthma has triggered the insomnia.
Right.
See, again, that is also a trauma, that is also conflict. In her case, insomnia has started after the onset of another disease.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Many times people also get insomnia during the menopause phase. So the menopause has to be first looked at.
Yeah, see, I had a very early menopause. I was all about 40 only when I had my menopause.
Okay.
So,
and has insomnia also started after that?
Asthma, insomnia, everything started after that.
Right. So how does it make you feel that at such a young age your periods have stopped?
I didn't think much about it,
That's the whole
Might be
problem.
at that time I wasn't too aware also about these things. People are more aware about menopause now, but 30 years back, there wasn't that much awareness about menopause.
Well, people are not even much aware today also. Let me tell you that. It's just that, when people like Dipti and me and we all start coming and speaking, something shifts and something changes over there. But even today, people are not aware of menopause because why is it that now doctors are saying that you need to take care of yourself because otherwise during menopause you will come down with severe and serious diseases? Because it is that point in your life when your body is saying enough. And even at that time, if you're now not going to look at your diseases, it's only going to aggravate for you.
Okay, I get it.
So it is like a simple, how do I say, after menopause, everybody knows that the bones become weak, right?
Yeah.
Right? That's a common thing the doctor will tell you, calcium lena hai. Right? Why do bones become weak? Now, the logical explanation is that the estrogen has gone down.
Yeah.
At the body level, the estrogen has gone down. A hormone that is very naturally being made in your body is now not being made. Correct? But why is the estrogen going down? Because now the female's body does not need it. Because now you don't need your periods. You don't need to make babies anymore. But you are still a female, no?
Yeah.
And all those organs that make you female, they start getting impacted. Your breasts, your uterus, your cervix. Why? Because when you had your periods, you did not respect it. You were not comfortable being a female, getting your periods, being who you are. So obviously, when the menopause came, the bell didn't ring, no?
Yeah.
You're used to living that way, so theek hai na, chalo.
Yeah, I never thought anything about it. ठीक है, जल्दी हो गया तो हो गया.
हो गया, what's the big deal?
Yeah, that's true.
बच्चे होने थे वो हो चुके हैं.
हाँ.
Exactly.
Anyway, they were old enough by the time. So
that's not the point, Sarita. I hope you are understanding what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, I'm understanding.
Right? Right.
Yeah.
Why is it that during menopause only you get breast cancer? Why do your breasts get affected only after menopause? Yes, some of them do get breast cancer even earlier. But your biggest risk after menopause is breast cancer, heart disease, cervical cancer. Because all this is governed by your female hormone estrogen.
doing my regular checkup, so I've never had any problem like that.
Okay, let me put it very simply,
Oh, yes,
Sarita.
yeah.
Even at 40, if you get diabetes, you go to a doctor. What is the doctor telling you at that time? You're 40, middle age, ये तो होता ही है सबके साथ. What's the big deal? So you're okay living the next 40 years of your life popping 2 pills a day. Now we have got so used to even all these kind of imbalances in our body. We've taken it कि हाँ ये तो होता है, it's all right. But then every second day you are at the doctor's place because something is not feeling okay in your body. Even with the diabetic pills, your diabetes is not getting normalized. Even with the diabetic pills, your health is not feeling all that great. Your energy levels are not that great. Then how is that okay? How is that normal? I hope now you're understanding what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes, I am.
So all this is not normal. First, we need to understand that. The body is trying to tell you something. Anybody else has a question?
So what do I do about it now?
Well, you need to do some work on yourself. You need to see if you can get rid of your asthma and your insomnia, because now as you are aging, anyways, sleep is not all that great. Now on top of that, to get insomnia, not even get that normal 6-7 hours of sleep that you need for your body to recover. So it will have a long lasting impact, no?
Yeah, it will.
Right. Anybody else has any question?
Yeah, Kavita, one question. Why
Yeah,
old people have a sleep problem?
Why do old people have?
Sleep problem. They have problem sleeping. They only get 2-3 hours of sleep and then they don't feel sleepy after that.
I think even their mind is racing a lot.
Oh, because
And
most
also
have this
they
problem.
are not somewhere. It is like, when you're not prepared for that next change in your life.
Oh.
See, menopause is also a very big change in your life. Similarly, old age is also a change in your life. And you're not being able to adjust with it.
Okay.
So it's like even at night, the mind is finding a solution. And I really wouldn't say like, just because you're old, you have to have sleep problem. Or just because you're menopausal, you have to have sleep problem. Again, these are all our beliefs and everything that comes from the medical industry. Yes, Ishania.
Yeah, Kavita, is this also possible, right? Like many of these people who work for different timelines, like software people, it's a prolonged programming of hypothalamus will result in ultimately insomnia, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
you may not have any abuse, you may not have any of those.
No. See, all these people who are working night shifts, they have anyways disrupted the circadian rhythm. So now when that rhythm is going to get completely upsetted, you have told the brain that night is day and day is night.
Yeah.
It's anyways going to become a problem.
Yeah, get it. And then internally, in turn, that can actually cause abuses, right? It's like
not only
the other way around.
Not only it will cause abuse, it can also cause the manic depressive state.
Okay. Yeah, get it.
Because the left and the right hemisphere of your brain has got botched up.
And reversing this probably will take long time, right? Like
the first thing they will have to do is get out of the night shift.
Yeah, even then it might take long time, right? Because reprogramming of the hypothalamus.
not only the reprogramming, they will have to do it over a period of time, but it can be done.
And I have one more question. Is it something like men will have more insomnia cases? Is it so?
No, I don't think so. Anybody who's not willing to look inside can have insomnia.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Kavita.
Most welcome. I mean, see, if let's say the insomnia is because of the mother issue, even a man can have it, even a woman can have it. So it is not gender biased. It is more around how you have treated yourself.
One place where gender doesn't have a role.
No, but I still said to hypothalamus, mother issues.
No, matlab, on set.
Yeah.
Doesn't differentiate between gender.
No. In this case, it doesn't, because see, manic depression applies to both the man and the woman, right? And again, as I said, it is to do with your left and the right hemisphere of the brain. So, I mean, I don't want to get into the technical part of it, but in this case, what happens is that one part of your brain is completely shut, which has caused the manic situation to come up.
So tell me, these days, all these youngsters have this thing of not sleeping early, right? They all sleep 2:33 because they're on their social media or chatting and stuff. So this can have long-term repercussions on them.
100%. Ask them. None of them will have good digestion. All of them are having hair and skin problems. There's a lot of brain fog. They can't make decisions.
Which means we're looking at the future generation of most of them having problems with their hypothalamus.
Absolutely.
Nothing to do with their
not only
issues.
just the hypothalamus, we are looking at a generation which is going to be either manic depressive or depressive manic. They're not going to be balanced.
Right. No, because I'm surrounded by teenagers, most of them going to colleges. So I'm hearing like in hostels, the culture is not to sleep before 2:30.
Yeah, you're not cool if you sleep early. Like you're dadajis and dadijis if you sleep by 10 o'clock.
So then I'm just wondering, and they all have to get up by 7:30 because classes start. So which means that 10 years down the line, all our children are looking forward to having these issues.
If even right now you look at, where is all this rampant PCOD and everything coming from? They're all hormone related issues. Again, hormone related to hypothalamus.
Right.
I mean, there is a reason God made a routine for us of 24 hours. What time to get up and what time to sleep. Now, most important thing that, this is probably not today that we can discuss over here, but we need to understand how our brain functions to understand the importance of sleep. That 6 to 8 hours of sleep, depending on your personality, is so important for your brain to reboot, recover, rejuvenate, so that next day it functions properly.
Yeah.
How many times you have a marriage, which has lasted the whole night? How do you feel the next day in the morning? It's just one night that you've not slept, but still, how are you feeling the next day in the morning? We are literally cursing the person who has got married कि तेरे को और कोई time नहीं मिला क्या शादी करने के लिए.
North India में तो बहुत common है ना, 12 बजे.
Common ना?
मुहूर्त ही 12 बजे निकलता है.
Exactly. I just don't understand that part. How do you feel when you have done international traveling? Jet lags are there. Even that takes 1 to 3 days before you come back into the cycle. So now imagine when for prolonged time people are doing night shifts, not sleeping on time. You are asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Right. Any more questions? Otherwise,
so
we can.
Kavita posted 2 questions there. The question about the deep sleep and REM sleep.
1 second. How much deep sleep is necessary? It entirely depends on you. There are some people who are absolutely fine with 4 to 5 hours of sleep. because the energy is so, it is in such a good place, you are balanced, grounded, centered, you may not need more than 5 hours of sleep. And there are some people for whom even 8 hours is not enough. So it is again individual activity levels, energy levels, it all depends on that.
Okay.
And what do you mean by how REM affects the sleep? I didn't get your question.
They said rapid eye movement sleep.
I am not aware of that. How is that related with insomnia?
It's a sleep pattern. Suppose you have your, what do you say, Fitbit or something, they show you a sleep pattern. They'll show this many hours of deep sleep, this many hours of REM sleep, and this many hours of light sleep.
Okay.
Yeah. So even if the person is sleeping for 8 hours or 7 hours, they may not get refreshed in the morning because their deep sleep is very less.
See, when you say deep sleep is not good, means what? You're sleeping in a state of awareness. You have not allowed your body to completely relax, let go, and just sleep. How many times we have seen people to whom, you know, we can look at and say, ye to ghode bech ke sota hai. Baaju mein bum phad jaye to usko pata nahi chalega. Right? There are people like that also. And there are people who you walk also inside the room, tiptoe inside, they will get up. So what does that tell you? The person who's just lost to the world is in deep sleep. And the person who's not in that kind of deep sleep is sleeping in a very aware state. So many times it also happens, you know you've gone off to sleep, but yet you feel as though you are awake. It's like, you know, you can hear your own snoring, but you can't understand whether you're sleeping or not. So these are all people whose minds are not at peace. And the ones who sell off everything and sleep, lost to the world. It's like, you know, they have this switch inside. The minute the head hits the pillow, gone. So I'm not aware of the REM, deep sleep, light sleep, whatever, but the whole, this thing is about the mind. It's like, you know, these people can tell their mind, okay, the day is over, switch off. And the others are not able to do that.
And some people can sleep immediately, but towards the morning, they are always awake and dreaming.
I would have to see that. See, dreams is again a whole different thing that we have to look at. Okay. So, I mean, here right now, it will get confusing over here. So most important thing that has to be understood is insomnia is typically a very, very stressful phase that people are going through because of which they can't sleep.
So where does snoring fit into this whole thing? Because some people snore, some don't.
Again, Dipti, snoring is a lot of thing, you know, where your throat, your nose, your tongue, everything comes into it. Okay. But a very simple thing behind snoring is it is as though, you know, you must have seen bulls. When they see danger, what do they start doing?
They start running.
They start snorting.
They start snorting. Okay.
They start making that snoring kind of a noise. That's what we humans do in our sleep if we are sensing danger.
Oh, okay. So does that affect sleep? Because at least in India, I mean, I've always heard from childhood kids, snoring is normal. It's not considered a medical condition.
Snoring can happen when you're excessively tired. Snoring can happen again when you are sleeping aware because you sense some danger. Snoring can happen also because of something called like sleep apnea.
Okay.
Snoring can also happen when you have a lot of congestion. So many things are there.
But is it a medical condition which causes danger or?
It becomes a medical condition if it is sleep apnea.
Okay.
Not otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah. Kavita, one question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, during the whole night, I'll be continuously dreaming, you know. Then next morning when I wake up, certain days I'm okay. certain days I feel very tired. I want to sleep some more. So is it considered that my hypothalamus is affected? If you have
It
dreams
is
in the
not
night,
necessarily your hypothalamus, but again, it is the state of your subconscious mind.
it's not resting or what?
It is not resting. And there is, again, see, as I said, dreams again is a whole different topic. Some people get dreams where they are literally finding solutions to their problems in the dream. Some people are dreaming of the parallel realities. Some people are dreaming about a childhood issue. Again, at what time you get the dream, even that matters. Because again, it has a different indication.
Okay.
So
Maybe you should
that
conduct one
has got
course.
nothing to do with insomnia. Sorry?
Maybe you must conduct one lesson. One
Let's see.
talk on all this.
Let's see.
Very interesting.
All right, Dipti.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
I think a very interesting question. Anybody has any other questions or anything to share?
No, I think we've taken all the questions.
Yeah, Divya, sure.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
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 हाँ जी.
हाँ जी, नमस्कार दी.
हाँ जी, नमस्ते, बोलिए.
I have one question. What is the difference between mind and brain? And if they are both different, then what is the location of mind in the body?
Dipti, next topic, theory of the mind.
Topics बहुत हैं.
Because if I start right now with the theory of the mind, I'll take another 2 hours. Because you need to understand what is the mind and what is the brain together and separately.
Okay.
Okay, so right now I can just tell you this much, that brain is that physical brain which is there inside your skull.
Okay.
Okay, and the mind is all around you. They are your thoughts.
Okay.
So brain
briefly put,
brain is a tangible thing जो हमको दिखती है जब वो करते हैं. Mind is your intangible thing जो आपके thoughts आते हैं, आपकी feelings आती हैं, आपके emotions आते हैं.
All that is the mind.
वो mind है. जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना कि हम एक physical being है और फिर हमारे around एक energy है, हम energy beings भी हैं. Similarly, brain वो physical being है और mind वो intangible thing है जो उसके around है.
In a very simple way, brain is like your mobile. Mind is your WhatsApp.
Good.
Can I say that it is one is hardware, one is software?
Yeah.
No, instead of putting so many examples, just keep it simple. Brain is the actual brain, the physical brain which is in your head, in your skull.
Okay.
Right? जिसकी हम brain surgery कर सकते हैं.
Okay.
Right? And mind is, it is that energy which is all around you. It is your thoughts, it is your energy, your emotions, all that.
तो इसका mind के साथ कोई connection है? Whether it is any connection with the brain? Sorry. नहीं. Whether mind has any connection with the brain?
Of course it has. 100% it has. Whatever you are thinking is affecting your mind. It is affecting your body, everything. If today I have a thought that I'm stupid.
Okay.
Will it create an emotion?
Sorry, please repeat.
If today I have a thought, I am stupid.
Okay.
Will it create an emotion?
Yes.
It will create an emotion, right? Maybe I feel sad, maybe angry, whatever.
Okay.
And when I am saying these words, who's processing these words and these thoughts? The brain.
Okay.
So of course there is a connection.
So if a person is in coma, his brain is not working, then what about the mind?
Mind is still there because your heart is functioning. Your emotions are still there.
Then mind is related to heart or mind is related to brain?
Mr. Kakkar, पूरी audience यहाँ confused हो जानी है ये इसके साथ. Let's stick to insomnia right now. As I said, theory of mind is a whole different topic.
Okay.
Right
December,
now, we are just
January,
talking about conflicts behind the diseases.
December या Jan में ना we'll do a session on theory of mind.
It's a 1.5 hour thing that I need at least minimum to make you all understand the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, what is the filter, lots of things are there.
Okay. So kindly invite me to that particular session.
Definitely.
आपको मिल जाएगा तो hopefully आपको मिल जाएगा.
दिव्या के पास आ
Okay.
जाएगा, दिव्या है हमारी लिस्ट में, तो उसको आ जाएगा तो आपके पास भी आ जाएगा.
Okay, ji, okay. Thank you so much. I'll be waiting
You're
for that.
welcome. Welcome.
Definitely.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Ishanya,
Fire
is
has
sleepwalking related to insomnia? No. It's again a different conflict. Okay, Dipti.
Payal has a question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last question, huh?
Yeah. Hi, hi,
Yes.
Dipti.
Hi.
I have a question.
Yes.
I very actively participate in my dreams. I'm a part of my dreams. I'm doing the actions. It's a very, very active role that I'm playing in all my dreams, and which I vividly remember in the mornings. Is it okay or what? I don't feel very fresh when I get up in the mornings most of the time.
See, whenever you will ask me a question, is this okay? I will ask you, do you feel okay?
I feel tired.
So then
But,
it's not okay.
It's not okay, yeah. But sometimes
Because you
feel
are trying to
good.
live your life through your dreams.
Okay.
So what is stopping you from living your life in reality?
Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's so unrelated.
I didn't understand that reaction.
I did understand. Yeah.
Start living your life in reality. You will not have to do this drama in your dreams.
Okay.
You'll get better sleep.
Yeah, I think so.
Remember, I gave you the example of a client. She used to stay awake till 4 o'clock, living her life from 12 to 4, that she couldn't live the whole day.
Yeah.
Where she would be awake, imagining that she's gone out with friends, what fun she had, she has a boyfriend, how her life is so beautiful. All she does in that 12 to 4 movie time.
No, but I don't have those sort of a dreams. It's totally sometimes unrelated.
I'm giving you an example. That's what you're doing. You're doing something similar to that.
Okay.
जो आप पूरे दिन में नहीं कर सक रहे हो, you're doing it at that time.
Okay. Fine. So I mean,
the time that your mind, your body needs to rest, you're utilizing in living another whole life.
Okay. So when they say that, a dreamless sleep is the best sleep, or that is a deep sleep, it is right? What this?
Absolutely. I mean, come on, yeah. The whole day I see enough drama and enough things going on. Yeah, at least that 6 hours, I don't want to watch anything. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a continuous TV going on in my head.
Exactly. No, I need that energy for my next day.
Yeah, true.
Which I get from that 6 hours.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I think just before ending, Kavita, I would like it if you just mention about the hypothalamus gland again, as to how do we know that it's not functioning, and the hand tip that you gave, just for people to refresh.
The top of your thumb, that is where the hypothalamus pressure point is there. Start massaging on both your thumbs, nice deep pressure, at least for 15 minutes. See, even if you right now poke it, most of us will have pain over there.
Yeah.
It does hurt. And that's your sign that hypothalamus is not okay. See, if you don't have a cervical problem, and if you massage this area of your thumb, which is the cervical points, then there is no pain over there. People who have cervical problem, they will have pain over there. So similarly, this is your hypothalamus.
So everybody, please start massaging your thumbs. I mean, that's not a permanent solution. As she said, it will take at least 3 months of continuous massaging.
Yes.
But,
because see, hormones per se, they are very deep. They don't come back into balance that easily. I call them hormones only.
It's 15 minutes each hand or 15 minutes together?
No. 15 minutes, both the thumbs. So take a nice pen and you need to deeply, either do clockwise, anti-clockwise, or just pressure at that one point for 15 minutes.
Kavita, please show me the point again.
Yeah, the tip of your thumb, right here, on the top. It's here, no, your hypothalamus is right here.
Okay, thank you.
So on the hand, it comes here.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Kavita. I think today's session
most
was
welcome.
one of the most enlightening ones, because in some way, all of us have gone through phases where we haven't slept properly, or we have days, let's say.
Of course.
Yeah. And I think the discovery of hypothalamus, which most of us did not know existed, is one of my biggest learnings in today's session.
So start resolving your mother issues. Lot of work over there.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And thank you
Most
to
welcome.
everybody for being here. We're taking a break for 2 weeks now, and we'll be back by middle December with some. And so if you want certain things addressed, please message me so that we can collate, because what
I
we
have a topic in mind. I will send it to you. If it resonates with you, just send it over then to everybody.
Sure. So we'll do that.
Because see, when we are talking of diseases, understand we are not only talking of the diseases that are common that we are talking about, right? We also it would be nice if you all could see diseases that are coming up because of your personal behaviors also.
Yeah.
So the topic that I had in mind was that, can parenting cause diseases?
Oh, one of the major causes of diseases in today's world.
Exactly.
I think that's an interesting topic. Maybe in December, we'll start with that after the break. Is everybody
Sure.
okay with that topic? Can parenting cause diseases? Give me a thumbs up or give me a something that people are okay with that topic. Yeah, so maybe that's something that we'll do in December.
Sure. You let me know when you want to do it. So then I will keep that Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night and have a great weekend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kavita, Deepti.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you, Kavita. Thank you, Deepti.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Right.